Welcome back to the news. So, Sony's PlayStation 5 lineup is kind of running away into the future, which some PS5 people are not particularly thrilled about because a lot of those initial dates and release windows, in and around the time people were buying their PS5s, turned out to not be particularly accurate. Though in fairness to Sony, that is something that has plagued the entire games industry over the last while. So it seems like Horizon Forbidden West is going to be delayed into 2022. This has not been directly confirmed by Sony, but it very much seems to be the case. So the first report was via Jeff Grubb. Now, he said that he heard via a familiar source that it may be delayed into 2022, initially suggesting that the delay was undecided, but Sony were leaning in the direction of delaying the game. And the belief is that Sony is going to hold a state of play in September to announce the delay, along with a bunch of things that people can actually get excited about. So basically them softening the blow. So initially, that's what we thought. Some more rumors. However, Jason Schreier flew in to say that he can actually corroborate Jeff Grubb's claims. He really framed it as being less of a rumor and far more fact, saying that it is decided and delayed. And he highlighted that initial reports suggested that Sony were undecided on the delay, but he noted that his understanding is that it was officially delayed a while ago, or a little while ago, internally. So that is basically that situation with that game. What about Sony, though? What have they been saying? Well, Sony did recently warn people that Forbidden West could very well be delayed out of this calendar year, so 2022. Speaking in the same Q&A session that confirmed the God of War Ragnarok delay into 2022, Herman Hulst, who is the studio's boss, said that he wouldn't rule out Forbidden West also getting a delay. So it's not like we should be super surprised over this. Basically, he said they don't want to compromise the quality of the game or the health of their employees, which obviously is the right move to make. Now, that said, Guerrilla Games did show off 14 minutes of the game in a live stream. So, does that mean that the delay was a pretty last-minute decision, that that's just their marketing plans being out of sync? Or is this a sort of thing where it's there and it will inspire a little bit more confidence, in general with people? So that's basically that, though I should note that on the PlayStation blog, they said that they're actually being affected by access to performance capture and talent. That's actually holding their games back. And that for Horizon, they think they're on track to release this holiday, but it's not quite certain. So this is a decision that was made sometime after the 2nd of June this year. And look, as they said, something's got to give. That is actually, in fact, how it is. Now we then think, what else do Sony have in their release slate to tide people over? Well, this game, Horizon, was supposed to be their big Christmas release. That's delayed into 2022. What have they got? Especially in a world where Microsoft are going to be spinning up a little bit with the likes of Halo Infinite. Well, for holiday 2021, there is not that much announced. There's Tsushima Director's Cut in August 20th. There's Kena Bridge of Spirits, August 24th. Deathloop, September 14th. And Death Stranding Director's Cut, September 24th. And I'm sure those are all great, but 2 of those are just expanded versions of older titles on the PS5. So it's not really big tentpole release stuff for the company, is it? And speaking of other titles at this rate, the closest they're going to have to a big Christmas release is GTA 5 coming out on PS5 November 11th, which is pretty rough. And then that makes us think back to Jeff Grubb, who did say that they're going to have a state of play soon enough that will announce the Horizon delay, but also give people something to look forward to, right? Because, I mean, come on. God of War, delay. Ghostwire Tokyo, delay. Horizon Forbidden West, almost certainly a delay. That's not looking super good. That said, Microsoft, I think, are going to have a strong exclusives lineup eventually. I mean, what, they've got Halo Infinite, and that's really that. So while they're going to have a strong holiday this year with Infinite, I mean, come on, Sony did have Miles Morales, Returnal, Ratchet and Clank. They're going to have a good year regardless.
It's very interesting because it feels like we're into this case where there's almost like a alternating year of releases coming out from them, because Sony are like, we have to skip this entire year, sorry. But then, as far as I'm aware, a lot of Xbox's stuff seems planned for 2023.
Yeah.
So I wonder, is this going to be the case of they've now not like it's not like they're colluding or anything, but have they accidentally just decided, okay, I guess we'll just swap who wins every holiday from now on?
It almost seems that way.
It seems that way, but I will actually correct that Ken has actually been also delayed, but only till September 21st.
Ah, gotcha.
So that's delayed by a little bit, which means September looks like a pretty good time, but then you're kind of shit out of luck for quite a period of time after that. And it's also that those games are, well, I mean, I guess it was kind of pushed a little bit with the PS5 launch stuff. Deathloop's been advertised as a PS5 exclusive, even though it's, Xbox on it, which is always fun. But it feels like this is the downside of having all of their marketing be super heavy focused on blockbusters. Blockbusters is just, they're so liable to this stuff happening. And they knew that going in, for sure. So it just has this problem of, please wait for our blockbuster. Please wait for our blockbuster. Please wait for our blockbuster. Almost the same stuff that's happening with like Blizzard, where they're like, okay, our big games are coming. They're just around the corner. And now, like, to compare it to Xbox, they can just go, here's some shit on Game Pass. Here's a pile of indies on Game Pass this month. Please play and enjoy. And everyone will be like, sweet, I'm actually, it feels like on average, the Xbox consumer's probably going to be happier like month on month with what they're getting for a while because of the general strategy. But then at the same time, people are going to like flock to their PS5s whenever any of these games drop, like nothing ordinary.
Yeah, and I think that's like a big part of Sony's strategy. They want to use their big blockbusters to expand the user base, get more consoles sold, which gets people more in the store, which then gets them the early lead. And then if they have the early lead and a multi-plat game comes out like Assassin's Creed, Call of Duty, or Battlefield, what Sony's real goal is, or their big goal, is that a Battlefield player is going to be playing Battlefield on the PS5, not the Xbox Series X, and that reason will be because that person already decided on getting a PS5 because they heard about Horizon and Tsushima and Miles and Ratchet and all of those things. And as we recently covered, 10 million PS5s, and I think it was around 6.8-ish million for the Xbox Series X and S, which, it's not even a massive knock on Microsoft. I think they have a genuinely fantastic, very smart strategy that is going to pay off big in the future. It's just obvious that Sony got that big, strong initial lead. And I do have to wonder, did that give them an incentive to really come out swinging to the point where maybe some PS5, like the big PS5 gamers, are kind of thinking, okay, I bought your console. You led me to believe these games were coming out vaguely in this time window, and now you've delayed them all. I now don't feel like I've been honestly communicated with. I think there's some people who will not really believe that Sony had a sort of a good faith belief that those games would not experience delays.
Yeah,
but it's hard to know without seeing internal documents and emails. That's just like conspiratorial stuff.
Yeah, that's interesting, because I remember whenever the God of War delay was largely talked about and announced, it was met with anger. It was met with people going, I can't believe this. You've delayed this game. But I bought your PS5 expecting this game this year. And I think that's like a valid thing to have. Now, I would largely disagree with this in a different world where, you could just walk into the shop anytime, pick up a PS5. That's a point where it's like, just don't buy the console till the game's out. But they also went on they combined their premium nature with the scarcity of console sales to really rile consumers up. I mean, they didn't literally do this, but, you could say they had a hand in it because of their marketing. People are like, oh shit, go get a PS5 because I want to play God of War when it's out. I need one. And how many of those 10 million were sold to people after scalpers? How many of those were, bought at significantly above RRP with a sense of urgency, which is now complete betrayal? Because, I mean, I feel like that's a real thing people could be feeling. And I can imagine there being real salt on that front. And, maybe not super warranted to blame Sony specifically for it, but the feelings are definitely valid.
Yeah, I wonder if they did anything in response to Halo Infinite. Like, I wonder if they saw the initial Infinite showing not being that great, and then just kind of thought, well, we need to show them how good our side is going to be.
Yeah, they smell blood in the water.
Yeah, because that would be the smart decision. Like, if somebody is looking at these two consoles and thinks, right, what games will I overall be able to play? I mean, we can talk until the cows come home about how Game Pass is a real good value for money deal, actually. But you just look at Sony, and you're like, well, they obviously are winning right now. And I think that solidified so many of those purchase decisions early on, which is going to mean that all that you said there, especially the people who bought a above RRP PS5, might feel a little bit scorned. But at least from Sony's perspective, those people, assuming they're not PC gamers, they're going to be getting Battlefield 2042 on the PS5. Because the whole thing worked. People got the PS5s because they got confidence in the blockbuster strategy.
Yeah, it's annoying to like have to cover this with a negative angle, because I can't help but read what they said about, on the PlayStation blog. With these things, something's got to give. It can't be the quality of our titles, and it surely won't be the health or the well-being of our amazing team. And you look at that and you go, well, what's a couple months for that?
Oh, absolutely.
Because they're not increasing the price of the game to match that extra time. They're taking that extra time out of pocket, basically, because the game's not ready. And it kind of stings to have to go, well, people are going to feel annoyed, but I think that's more so down to marketing problems, and then the issue with scalpers and limited supply. Because otherwise, I would love to open this and go, yay, video games delayed, let's go. This is going to be way better. The consumers should all be really happy with this move. You're not getting screwed like you have been for years with other games.
Yeah.
And now it's just like, it's good, but also we do have to talk about the negative bias of it.
We have to do that because we've got to keep those people in mind. I will definitely say that personally, I mean, how many times have we played a game, maybe an installment in a franchise that we've really been looking forward to, and it's just felt like it came out too early? That has happened far too many times for it to be okay. It's nice to see that Sony, I mean, yes, it is them doing the right thing. I think it's also them knowing that the second a big Sony blockbuster comes out and has real issues on, because I know Horizon had issues on, or Zero Dawn had issues in PC, but like if it has issues on the PS5 in their home turf, they know that like if that happens, bam, the illusion is shattered. The illusion of them being these untouchable people with the best, the most slick, the most cinematic, the most premium feeling games in existence, that will just shatter. So they know that like their business model doesn't let them, like it doesn't let them have an 8.5 out of 10. Right? That's the like wild thing. Wild because they consistently do significantly better than that, right? So yeah, I think that's what's up. This is, I would say, overall good news for video games, because it means the video games will be better. And honestly, we've got so many damn video games to play that I am okay. Though I do feel for the people who have really been chomping at the bit for these games and perhaps, made a purchase decision, based on that. That's obviously a little bit of strife now.
Definitely.
Yeah, so there we go. That's what's up with Sony. Horizon, probably delayed, and that's almost certainly a good thing, because I certainly want that game to be as good as it possibly can be. First game, I think, was great, had a lot of promise. I'm really interested to see how they can take it for a sequel. So good luck to Guerrilla, and we will see you next time.